Season 1, Episode 12. We finally get to see Diamondback in costume.
Diamondback costume armor thing.
It feels more like a costume. I realize it's armor, but it feels like a costume to me because it's like a jumpsuit that bullets bounce off of, but it has like the Cobra pattern going on there.
The kind of weird little helmet.
Mm-hmm. Because it's funny. I always like to start with the end because that's the high point to me. How did you feel about that last little bit? Him showing up in the costume, in the power armor, whatever it is.
I thought it was, well, okay, if we're going to talk about the costume, it's not a very good looking costume. No. But it could look like a costume made by a psycho. You want to take it that way.
I guess so, and I guess also it's supposed to be probably something that's just, this is stuff that's, like, it probably wasn't made for aesthetics, right? It was probably something that's supposed to be made to, like, here's this cloth we made that bolts bounce off of, and I still don't get how it's making them super strong, because it still doesn't seem like it's something that's like an Iron Man suit with servos and stuff.
Well, he's probably using those gloves that he's used before. Mm-hmm. They're probably part of the costume, and the thing's probably powered somehow. It's hard to understand how a little glove thingy makes him strong. It's got to be like a repulsor thing.
Yeah. So, this is what I'm starting to think. Do you think that this is maybe actually them preparing for the next seasons and maybe for Defenders and stuff? Is obviously he's not a Tony Stark, right? He's not an engineering genius. Mm-hmm. So someone's making this stuff for him. In theory, do you think that maybe that's going to be like this, the future? Like what ties us all together is there's some organization, because it started out with Hammer Weapons, and Hammer is the guy that like Tony Stark was arguing with in Iron Man 3. He's the other guy that does tech stuff. So do you think that maybe they're going to spin that in as being kind of like the people who are funding him or setting him up, or he's stealing stuff from him?
It could be. That could be how they go with it. I don't know. But getting back to that scene, like that was a good scene. Like the final scene of the episode in Pop's barbershop, the whole thing was good. But I think I felt like the chess players kind of stole the scene. Really, like he was unshaken in a way by everything.
Yeah,
being a smart
all this craziness happening.
Bobby Fish,
explosion happening. Man, it just fixed all that stuff. Yeah, it's great. How did the whole episode flow for you?
It was pretty smooth. I enjoyed it. It's fitting, right, that it's like one of the last episodes, because I think it was, for me, probably one of the more interesting, well-constructed episodes. Mm-hmm. There was a lot of cool stuff going on, a lot of variety in the scenes, police station. The thing with, what's his name, Method Man, in the the liquor store attempted robbery that Luke Cage breaks up, and then Method Man advocating for Luke Cage on the radio show,
that was awesome.
Making him a song. So now he has his own song to walk cool down the street to. That was very cool. All the stuff with Shades was very cool. So here's what I've decided. I've decided that the best villain in this whole thing is Shades. To me, usually if you really want a good villain that people are interested in, there has to be a connection. There has to be some kind of empathy in a way. Mm-hmm. And I think that's part of the problem I've had along with Diamondback. Because I don't empathize with that guy at all.
No.
He's just a psycho jackass. But Shades is he's interesting, he's clever, but he's also a guy that's getting into trouble sometimes. And, he's double-crossed people. People have double-crossed him. He's complex.
But he's not crazy.
Yeah. And so he's my favorite bad guy in the whole series. And then I was thinking about Black Mariah, because last episode we were talking about, these strong female characters in Misty Knight and Claire. Mm-hmm. And it's neat. This just occurred to me watching the scenes of Black Mariah in this episode. I don't know why I didn't kind of clue in on this earlier, but she's the one who openly would seem to be the most powerful female in the show, right? But it's actually flipped. She's actually the most powerless. She's the one that gets pushed around and has to compromise and has to do what these crime lords say, and is always in these bad, weird positions because of the crooked deals she's made. So it's like she, in her quest for power, has become effectively the most powerless.
Because she's falling in with the bad people and they're causing more problems for her than
all these deals with the devil, all these, and Shades is like the ultimate example. Like they had that little bit with her and him in the car where basically with saying it without saying it, she's saying that she's committing to evil, and it's kind of like she's the one that aspired the highest and fell the most, which I think is really interesting, very interesting to me.
Well, it's because I feel like with her, like she did aspire to do most, but she didn't, and she was like, "Oh, I'm going to be good," but she didn't completely walk away from it, and that's the thing is that like because she was unwilling to completely let go of those ties, it pulled her all back in.
Yep.
So in this one, they have what you were talking about, like how they're. Well, we were talking last time about how are they going to solve it? How are they going to wrap this up and do stuff? Because they kind of cornered Luke Cage, and they have a little packet of papers now that's supposed to exonerate him. But like you said, it doesn't exonerate Luke Cage. This exonerates Carl Lucas.
Right.
What do you? Still, we have one episode left. How do you think this is going to end for Luke Cage? Is it going to end with him being Luke Cage, hero for hire, having a little office somewhere, working out at the barbershop? Or is it going to end with him, old Incredible Hulk, like walking down the street, sad music playing, going to a new place?
Well, I think that they're going to set that up in the last episode. I don't think they can get there unless it's like a 3-hour episode. I think they'll set that up for the next season. Like, I would fully expect that somewhere in the last episode, there will be like Matt Murdock or Foggy or the lady from the other...
From the law firm.
The law firm.
Yeah.
We keep calling her Trinity, but it's not her name. To just show up and like, this is my client. I'm representing him, blah, blah, blah. I don't know how they get there, but that's like kind of, I just feel that coming, and that would make sense because it's tying the universes together. But I think they won't get to the full on he sets up shop in Harlem. I think that'll be like a next season thing.
So do you think it's going to end with like a closing of him like in the police station with his lawyer and then talking it out type of a thing?
Or somewhere at the, the towards the end of that episode, I would not be surprised.
So do you think it's going to... So you don't think it's going to end with him being... Do you think it's going to end with him being completely exonerated then? Or do you think that's going to be left ambiguous to be felt out in the future?
I don't know. I feel like maybe it's going to be us thinking that's where it's headed.
Okay.
I don't know that they can tie that up in a bow at
that
the very end.
One episode.
But we also, obviously, there's going to be a fight between, Power Man and Diamondback at the beginning of episode 13. So
I imagine that, I feel like that has to be something that has to get over quickly, right? I mean, I guess they could do a 20-minute long strongman fight.
Yeah.
That would be interesting to see because they haven't had since like was it episode 4 or 5, whatever it is, when he goes in and just goes in and busts up all those thugs and then pulls them, like, and the cops find all the money and everything in that house. We haven't really had a Luke Cage fight, right? Like, this is going to be the first time that he's going to be fighting anybody.
Yeah, on his level.
So I'm wondering if this is going to be like the hallway fight from Daredevil, or if it's going to be kind of in the same vein that all the other Luke Cage stuff has been, where it's very immediate. All of his things, he slaps people, they fall unconscious. Someone shoots him with a bullet that actually hurts him, he falls down.
Yeah.
Like, there hasn't been any drawn out fighting. And I don't know how this works either, because all he has to do is hit the guy, and even if his armor protects him, hit him in the face parts.
Yeah.
Right there where it's not protected and he goes down.
Yeah, but I feel like Diamondback, if one thing they've set up clearly about Diamondback is like his whole thing is the destruction of Luke Cage. That's what he's dedicated to. So if anyone in the show was going to be prepared to tussle with Luke Cage, it's going to be Diamondback. So I would expect a protracted fight. I'm thinking, just because it's a narrative kind of trick, is a big fight. The Diamondback almost loses, but gets away. Story moves on. Diamondback shows up, a la Cottonmouth with a rocket launcher, boom, or something like that. I wouldn't be surprised if we saw something like that go down. And then maybe they kill someone we don't want them to kill, which would be sad.
So you think we're going to end with Diamondback being resolved at the end of this season?
Yeah, one way or another. But there might be some more tragedy to come.
All right. Well, I think that covers our current thoughts on episode 12. Stay tuned. We'll have episode 13 up soon. Thanks for watching, guys.
Thanks, guys.